So once I've got some of this basic structure down, I'm going to do even more looking at what I see in the mirror or what I see at the model or friend that I'm looking at. So the basic geometry of this, in order to get us in the ballpark, is the sphere followed by the blocky chin. But if I look at myself, everyone has slightly different width or height. However, a lot of the proportions do remain the same. For example, the eyes are halfway between the top of the head and the chin, not the brow line. One of the reasons why people often put the eyes up too high is because of the brow line. They see the head is stopping there. So these are halfway. In our sphere, we used the brow line, not the eyes. So on the sphere, the line that crossed over here was a little bit higher than the eyes. So I know that the eyes are going to go a little bit lower. So this just gives me sort of a sense of the ballpark. And now I'm going to do a little bit of looking. For example, I can see some differences on my cheekbones, and I have fairly distinct features. So I see that, and I want to be looking at my skull, not at my hair. I see that this line kind of goes in a little bit where those sides, or those temple lines, parts that we were making into this flat sphere, this goes a little bit flat. So it goes in a little closer to the eyes, but then my cheekbone kind of pops it out, and then it goes back in the bottom here, and then I have a fairly strong jawbone. So I'm going to make a little bit of adjustment, looking at those lines as shapes, and if needed, looking at the negative space outside of it, and to be sure to include the hairline as well. Right now we're not concerned with the brow, the top of the forehead versus the top of the head. I'm just going to look at the sides of the face. So I see this, which is part of the flat of that, kind of coming in a little bit more, and then I'm going to keep looking at proportions. So I see that my cheekbone goes down in around the same line as where the bottom of my nose is. So I know this is going to go out a little, and then it's going to come down in around here. And then I can see that around my lip line, it starts to go back out a little bit. Now it's more subtle when I'm in the 3/4 view here. And then I'm just going to look at the shape of the chin. And I see that I have a bit of a stronger chin as it goes up to the ear here. And since I know this is the brow line, I can start to think about that a little bit. And then I can also look a little bit at what's happening with the hairline. The hair should be pulled back. At 3/4 view, again, you can measure, so it'll look a little different to the camera, but when I'm in 3/4 view, I can look at this and I can measure the part line to where I see is the edge of my head. I can close one eye to help, and then I can come over here and I can measure that part line, and I see that it stops about this much short. So it's not quite the same. So the part line on mine is not right at this center axis. It's a little bit off to the side. And there I'm just going to be looking at sort of the negative space or the shape of the forehead, and then I'll look at this shape, and then I'll look at this shape. So if I separate them out. Now remember, the sphere happens in or around the temple here. That's one of the reasons you can draw a little bit on your face if you want. So this ellipse is going to come down to around the ear, go up to the brow line, and come up and over here. So if I look at that being here, I know that my brow stops in and around there. Okay? Then I can follow that line up. I can even draw a line from my part down. Okay. Makeup will be a little bit easier to see. And then that breaks that down into that shape. So if I go, okay, that comes down to the edge of my eye, and then it makes this sort of trapezoidal shape. And then it goes down to the edge of the ear, a little bit more flat. sure I'm looking at this in the same view that I drew the portrait. And it may be that I need to adjust a few other things, like where I put my ear. Okay. And we know that from the top of the head to the chin, the eyes are going to be halfway. So I have to figure out what is halfway here. So I put them a little bit high. So they're going to come down even lower. Okay. And I'm just going to make a little crosshatch mark there, like around where the eyes and around where the irises are. So the irises, since I'm looking at myself, irises are going to be back a little bit further. So we just want to have those indications to start. And our head isn't completely a sphere, so I'm going to see if there's some adjustments I need to make here, but the proportions should still be a little bit similar, although it might become a little more of an oval. But remember, the back of your head, you know, when you look straight on, it's more of an oval. When you look to the side, you do have this, remember, if you look at the skull, you do have a little bit more of this type of a shape going on.